these two World Championship fights. And in just a few minutes, of course, we'll be underway as they clear the ring. The excitement tonight, of course, is Eusebio Pedroza, who is from Panama City. This is his 13th defense of his title. He's 28 years old. And he's taking on the South African featherweight champion. There he is, Bashew Sibaca, whose nickname is the Blue Angel. Now, Sibaca, as an amateur, had over 400 fights, lost only 3 times. And as a professional, Sibaca has a record of 74, 12, and 3. He has 26 knockouts. Pedroza is 31 and 3 with 22 knockouts in his 31 victories. Pedroza won the championship in April of 1978, taking it away from Cecilio Lastra here in Panama City with a knockout in the 13th round. And since then he has had 12 straight successful defenses of his title. Randy Gordon, I think, in the United States, Eusebio's best known for his fight against Rocky Lockridge.
Well, that was one of the 2 times that he was seen on American television. The other time was this past February when he knocked out, destroyed Patrick Ford of Guyana in just an incredible defense of his title.
Louis Enrique, as I said, is with us at ringside. What's it like here on Fight Night in Panama City?
Now, one thing I would like to say, the people in Panama love boxing. Here is a championship, a double championship fight. It's a big night for us, like a holiday. Something like in the United States when Leonard fought Hearns, Duran, Leonard first fight. Excitement all over. But here, we have any championship fight. It is a great occasion for you to go and cheer for your Panamanian boxer, especially being the champion.
Of course, Roberto Duran is synonymous with Panama, but Eusebio Pedroza wants to make his mark.
Definitely. One of the main things with Pedroza, making his mark, is breaking as much titles, as much defensive championship titles, fights that he can do, and the main thing is also meeting Salvador Sanchez in the near future.
Okay, we're all set to go. Scheduled for 15 rounds. This is a 20-foot ring. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. The judges will look at this fight and judge by the 10-point must system. The referee is Ernesto Magana of Mexico.
I heard him say it before. I think he said it Magana.
Magana. Ernesto Magana giving the final instructions to Pedroza in red, Sibaca in white, and we're set to go. Once again, the 10-point must system. 3 knockdown rule in effect. They're using 8-ounce gloves, the Reyes gloves. And it's a 20-foot ring.
Sal, you know what I noticed when the national anthem was being played? And Luis, I've never seen nationalistic pride in a fighter like this. Eusebio Pedroza, he is so proud of being a Panamanian. He sang the national anthem, and so many athletes do not.
Well, that's something that is very common among Panamanians.
And so we're in the first round, and Pedroza opens up with a jab to the face of Bashew Sibaca. Pedroza, the WBA featherweight champion, in the red. Bashew Sibaca, the South African featherweight champion, in the white.
I call Eusebio Pedroza the Panamanian smorgasbord because this guy has a lot of everything. He can punch, he can box, he can slug it out, he can dance around the ring. He does everything.
Looking over his record, Randy, he doesn't seem like a cruncher of a fighter, despite the fact that he has 22 knockouts in his 31 wins. His knockouts come late in the fight.
Well, you might think he's not a cruncher or a puncher, Sal, but he has stopped 22 of his 31 opponents. Just like Muhammad Ali had a lot of knockouts. He wasn't a big banger either, but yet, because of that hand speed and he really puts his punches together, you will see a lot of knockouts.
Also, the fact that he paces himself very well from the beginning of the fight into about the 6th or 7th round.
So what we're saying is he's the type of hard hitter who wears down his opponent rather than coming out and knocking him out in the first round.
Precisely.
Well, they're obviously taking a very good look at each other here in the opening seconds. Sibaca with a good right hand to the left side of Pedroza. Very little work for the referee as both of these featherweights are working in the center of the ring.
If Eusebio Pedroza has any one fault, and it's not really much of a fault, I'd say he's a slow starter. Now, what Sibaca has to do is get in there and jump on him, because the more the rounds that this fight gets going, the better Pedroza is going to be.
I think you may have noticed some of the referee instructions. This is what Pedroza was talking about, fighting shorter opponents in the past. The way they come up with their head, possibly can hit him with their head and cut him. He is very careful about fighting boxers who are much shorter than him.
Sibaca is 5'4", whereas Pedroza is 5'9". So there is a 5-inch disparity there. And at the workout yesterday, Randy Gordon and I and Louis Enrique spoke with Pedroza, and he made a very important fact that he's afraid of the butting by Sibaca.
Well, anytime he said you get in against a shorter opponent, just like Louis said, you've got to watch out, because he's going to crowd you, jump on you when he tries to, straighten up. That head is going to get you, possibly open you up.
Did you catch that left hook by Pedroza? He caught Sibaca on the right side of his face. The first authoritative punch of this fight. Well, Sibaca's got to get inside if he's going to do any damage to the champion. And that takes care of round number 1. Let's go to Sibaca's corner. And you can see that he is getting the instructions from a wise old man in boxing. Sidney Beck.
That is his manager since the time he was in the amateurs. Sidney Beck has been around an awful long time.
Sidney told us that Bashew began fighting when he was 9 years old. That was 20 years ago. And as I said at the beginning of the telecast, Bashew's had over 400 amateur fights in addition to his 89 professional fights. Now we're looking at the corner of Eusebio Pedroza.
Actually, we have his manager, Mr. Del Rio, Mr. Lionel Hall, and Mr. Baby, watching the instructions right now. You can see him giving him instructions and just massaging the waist of the champion.
Round 2 scheduled for 15. Eusebio Pedroza in the red, Bashew Sibaca in the white. A good opening round for Sibaca as Pedroza gave him a good look. Pedroza obviously wanted to take a look at how Sibaca was going to attack him.
Sal, I like what I saw in Sibaca that round. He was slipping punches very beautifully. To the left, he was bending to the right, and he's making Pedroza, who's usually sharp with that jab, miss repeatedly. The gloves that they are using.
Big body punch, Randy. A big body punch by Pedroza.
Oh, he is
Look at
tremendous
his feet.
body punch.
Look at his hands, his feet in his hands.
A right hand by Pedroza. That caught Sibaca in the abdomen.
And he winced when he got hit with the shot.
Yes, he did. This fight may be going pretty soon.
We're in the second round, and Eusebio Pedroza is opening up on Bashew Sibaca. Another right uppercut by Pedroza to the stomach of Sibaca. A left hook by Sibaca, and that caught Pedroza, but he hardly blinked. Crowd here at Panama City, they cheer almost every clean blow.
This is excitement at its best.
Coming down the stretch of round 2, another right uppercut by Pedroza. More successful earlier in the round. That one was picked up by Sibaca.
If you notice, the head of Sibaca almost hit Pedroza on the right side of the face.
Louis, I just was going to say that. Pedroza was telling us yesterday, he was adamant about the fact that he does not want this guy to butt him, and he's
Definitely.
A right hand to the body by Sibaca, and Sibaca's holding on. So both of these fighters, quiet in the opening round, have really gone to the body here in round 2. Big left hook to the right side of Sibaca by Pedroza.
Now, they're right above us, and those body shots are really crunching.
15 seconds to go in the round. We'll continue with more from Panama City after this timeout on ESPN. Back in Panama City, round 3 scheduled for 15. That's the WBA featherweight champion Eusebio Pedroza in the red. Bashew Sibaca, the South African featherweight champion, in the white. The second round belonged to the champion as he really worked the body of Sibaca.
Yes, he did. One of the most important things about that round, that he realized he had to fight from the beginning of the fight because Sibaca came to fight.
Another right uppercut by Eusebio Pedroza. That caught the belly of Sibaca again. And once again, Pedroza keeps going back to that punch. It's working so well.
After the second round, manager Sidney Beck told Sibaca, start throwing more combinations. Get off.
A left to the body by Pedroza. Pedroza pushes off Sibaca, and you sense here that the champion is starting to take control. And it's very early.
Watch the movement of the Sibaca's head.
I'm not sure that I agree with that he's taking control. I think Sibaca is quite in this fight.
Pedroza's fighting much earlier. That's what I think is going on, and they have more excitement.
A left jab by Pedroza, and believe it or not, the jab really rocked Sibaca.
That's because he got hit as hard as you can get hit with a left jab, right on the button.
Sibaca tried a left hook and was picked off by Pedroza.
Well, Sibaca's got one of those faces. You can see he's been hit a lot. It's like he gets insulted if you miss him with a punch.
Overhand right by Sibaca, connected, very little damage. We just passed the halfway mark of round 3.
But Sibaca has never been on the floor before. He said, I can take anything this guy can throw at me.
A hot, steamy night in Panama City. There is no air conditioning in this arena. We've got about 12,000, 13,000 people here. And I would say it's, what, in the 90s here tonight?
It feels
it's
like
around 95 right now inside the arena.
It feels a lot more than that.
Of course, these men train in these tropical conditions, so they're ready to go 15 if they have to.
Sal, Louis, they've got the Reyes gloves on, and these are the gloves we talk about so often with the seam down the side that can open a cut with one punch.
One of the things I like about those gloves, they're very neat gloves. They're not that wide open, heavy glove that we're accustomed to seeing in the past.
Pedroza connecting a lot more in this round with his jab. Less than 30 seconds to go. There's that right uppercut to the body again by Pedroza. Sibaca missed with the left and missed with the right. We'll be back with round 4 after this. Previous round, the third, about halfway through, a strong left jab by the champion, Eusebio Pedroza, rocked Bashew Sibaca of South Africa. And now we're in round 4, scheduled for 15. Back live, round 4.
That jab had the impact of a hook.
Sibaca really was jolted by it.
There's another one of those stiff jabs, and Sibaca feels every one of them. You know, I do believe that Sibaca is slipping up and down and making Pedroza miss. I think Pedroza is actually trying to sucker Sibaca in, missing sometimes on purpose, trying to land that right hand.
That's a very good observation, Randy.
This is the 4th fight of the year for Pedroza. He had 4 last year and 4 in 79. That's the schedule he likes to keep. His last outing, August 1st in Caracas, he knocked out Carlos Pinanga in the 7th round. Back in February, he knocked out Patrick Ford in the 13th, and in January, he knocked out Raul Silva in the 5th round. 13th title defense for Eusebio Pedroza, who owns the record in the featherweight division. No one has defended that many times. We're halfway through round 4, and after a quiet first round, 2 dynamic rounds, here in the 4th, it's quiet. Short right hand by Pedroza.
And that's quite a record, 13 defenses tonight, because you've got names in the division like the contemporary Willie Pep and Sandy Sadler.
Sibaca, you can see, is trying to solve the puzzle here of the greater height advantage that Pedroza had, and Sibaca just used his head again. He just butted Pedroza on the far rope.
And he's been doing it from the beginning of the fight.
Right-hand lead by Pedroza grazed his chin. 45 seconds to go in round 4. Right-hand lead that time by Pedroza connected. Right hand by Sibaca, one of the few really tough shots he has handed out.
Well, it's been a closer round, except for the heavier punches have been landed by the champion, Eusebio Pedroza. Oh, kind of a dirty punch, I'd say.
We'll be back with round 5 after this. Of Panama defending his WBA featherweight championship against Bashew Sibaca of South Africa in the white. Sibaca with a left hook to the belly. Both fighters have been flat-footed. Here in the 5th round, they seem to be on their toes. They want to move a lot more.
You notice that, Louis? A little showmanship by the champion.
Yes, usually Panamanian boxers that are boxing experts do have a great knowledge of the speed of the antics that the boxers should do in the ring. A lot of that is also strategy.
That left hook by Sibaca was picked off by Pedroza. At the gym yesterday, we saw that Pedroza worked a long time with the ropes, dancing, and it seemed as if he did it maybe for 45 minutes.
Approximately 45 minutes.
It was just a magnificent performance of jump rope. The only guy I've ever seen do better is the guy you worked with, Roberto Duran.
And if you come to Panama and see other boxers, younger boxers jump the rope, Joe, as far as kids jumping rope.
Pedroza stalking Sibaca. We're almost halfway through the round. Pedroza caught Sibaca that time with the left hand.
You see what I told you about strategy?
And now Pedroza is moving laterally, and Sibaca takes a right to the belly that shook him up. Sibaca's now getting hit from different angles. A right hand by Pedroza, and Sibaca's against the rope. Here's the count. 8, 9, 10. The night, sweet friends. Eusebio Pedroza is knocked out.
Did you notice what I told you?
Bashew Sibaca in the 5th round.
Did you notice what I said about the strategy? As soon as he started dancing and moving around, he took control of the fight and hit with the knockout punch.
He started to move. Pedroza started hitting him from different angles. Sibaca didn't know where the punches were
That
coming
is
from.
a very common thing for good Panamanian boxers.
This is not a good Panamanian boxer. This is a great Panamanian boxer.
And now a standing ovation from the Panamanians for their featherweight champion, Eusebio Pedroza.
That was the first time in the career of Sibaca he had ever been down. And let me tell you, if he had stood up after that, I think Pedroza was going to go home.
They could not continue the fight. He was really hurt. As you may notice in the corner, he's also been given some kind of treatment right now.